Okay, here we are, Tuesday noon, Conversations with the Earth.
Here we are again. Hi, Corinna. Hi,
Hi,
Corinna.
Marianne, and you're gonna start today.
Yes. I was sitting with what are we gonna talk, and yeah, we had a few options that we reached out. But you know what came up for me the most strongly was the energy of fighting, and then the fighting for or against.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, the energy of fighting. And we are at the end of the year, so we go into something new, and how much fight there always is at the end of the year has. And it was something really fine in my world today with the facilitations I did with clients today. That energy of it's the end of the year and I want to get rid of some things and I want to open other things, but from the fight, as also from the fight and judgment of I decided that these are things I don't want to take over in the other years because, yeah, that's done. But from not looking really from where it's coming, is it coming really from a fight? I don't want it and I go against it?
Mhm.
Or is it from the potency that looks like the energy of the fight, but for more consciousness?
Yeah, yeah.
So I had a few interesting conversations today.
And you know, noticing what I have been doing. No, let me backtrack. I have been pretty contemplative the last, let's say, week or so. And obviously, there's stuff that comes up, and then you go into judgment. This is good. This is bad. You shouldn't be doing this. You should be doing that. Why are you not doing this?
Do I hear you say judgment? Who is
All
doing
those
judgment?
things. And then once you are done with the judgments and sorted it in the right and wrong piles, the next step tends to be fighting for or against. You're fighting for what you judged right, and you're fighting against what you judged wrong.
That's interesting, Corinna. Can you tell more about that? You fight for what you are saying it's the wrong one,
No, the right.
the right one, and then yeah,
Fight
can
against
you
what,
expand a little bit more about that?
okay, you fight against what you judged wrong. Fighting for is actually not that destructive because you're fighting for something. You want more of it. But if you start fighting against something, I mean, how often have we heard what you resist persists?
Yeah,
And that is exactly the fighting against.
yeah,
That we've decided this should not be. So we're resisting it, we're fighting against. And in that fighting against, we're giving it energy, which just makes it more potent, keeps it more alive, lets it grow. The what we judged as negative and actually kills anything that we've decided we should be doing instead,
yeah. And do
because
you
there is
know?
that connection.
Yeah, and expanding on that is also what I discovered for myself is that fighting against, which I did a lot in the past,
Mm-hmm.
from the thinking that I was fighting for, but it was really a fighting against, and that fighting against that kept me, myself, in such a small place because I couldn't be present even with what I was aware of, what I knew, as like fighting against has some, you lose yourself, and you can never lose yourself, I know, but it's like you cannot be present with everything because there is that focus on that where you are going against to.
Yeah. And it would be, from my perspective, instead of fighting against, it would be way more productive if I decided, so if I don't like this, what would I like instead? And am I willing to stay with the fighting, to fight for what I would like instead?
And as you said also, the fighting against, you give more power to that where you are fighting against to. But
Yeah.
on the other side, when you are fighting for, then there is a potency that can grow for more. So
Yeah.
it's nurturing
And expensive.
and expensive. Yeah, yeah, and you know that fighting against, it's more clearly lately because as I said, I did it a lot. And I became aware that it was more like from superiority because but that's not the right thing. There is so much more. So here it is, da 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 da. So I go against them. I think I'm going for my beliefs, my judgments,
Yeah.
but even then I'm fighting against myself. So there is that mix of for, against and for, and there is no expansion because it's one point that's fighting against another point.
And the question that I want to raise is, there's actually two questions. First of all, do we see any fighting at all, be it for or against, in nature? And the only way I could say I might be seeing fighting for is fighting for sustaining life. Otherwise, and that's not in the same way fighting for. And
Yes.
the other thing that I'm also getting, and especially it being the end of the year and we're stepping into the new year, and how many of us are used to making New Year's resolutions, and how much are those New Year's resolutions actually a fighting against?
Yeah. Yeah. All of them, my point of view. And I resisted that always. I wasn't one of them who makes those
Yeah.
resolutions. I never jumped on that train. It somehow it didn't make sense for me, but never could catch what it was.
And how much significance do we assign that if we start changing something, it's at the beginning of the new year, it's a beginning of a new month, it's a beginning of the week. And I wouldn't change anything on Thursday. I have to wait until Sunday or Monday, depending on when the week starts for me.
Yeah, that's
And
that linearity. It's really for the human.
yeah,
Because I never see as like the earth saying, oh, it's Monday. I have to open now those flowers and I have to flourish there and I have to be there with the wind. And then it's Wednesday. Oh, Wednesday. Oh, yes, it's time to clean up now. So I start with earth doesn't
do
do.
yeah.
And as you mentioned that fighting for the energy I catch there with the earth is there is no doubt. Earth doesn't doubt about the potency it has, and it knows what will be a contribution for generating more.
Yeah.
For sustainable. So there is something with that word, fighting.
Yeah.
So where are we indoctrinated that fight is always between 2 points, 2 sides? Is that the fight that we know and learned, isn't that the fight of polarity, which in truth, fight is a potency or can be a potency?
Fight can, I would agree, can be a potency, but fight can also be destructive.
Yeah.
And darn it, now the train left the station without me on it. There was just a thought that popped through. How much have we learned actually that fighting creates?
Yeah.
That's what came for me is we need to fight in order to create something different.
Yeah.
Can
And you
we-
have to fight for your rights. That's also something we learn.
Yeah.
You have to fight for your rights.
Yeah, you have to fight for that. So, how much are we actually just going on autopilot? Because that is something that we have learned instead of really looking what would be created if I choose that action. And could I create more if I actually decided to create instead of fighting for or against?
Yeah. What's coming up, Corinna, with this conversation now is also what we have learned about fight, and we have to fight for everything nearly, that the energy of receiving isn't existing in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
While speaking from fighting for as for consciousness in expanding, then the energy of receiving automatically is there because there is a contribution. It's not 2 points or 2 sides that that are present, but so much more. So much more is present. So contribution is there, and when contribution is there, the receiving is also coming in. How do you see that?
I see it similarly, and the thing is for me, what triggered it was you stayed talking about expansion. You need to add in order to expand, and contribution adds, receiving adds. Fighting, at best, keeps it the same, if not detracting.
Yeah. And how much and we have to fight for whatever, for ourselves or for being seen or whatever it is we have learned to fight for, which is a fight against, and the energy of victory as I go against, and then when there is a revealing that I won the thing I was fighting against, then there is a victory energy also. But when you touch that expansion energy and the contribution, also then all of that is joy. All of that is, yeah, is so much more than that one point of victory. Also, I'm not sure from where it's coming, but it's an energy that's showing up here.
And I hear you, and what you talking about victory really made me aware of is how much is fighting. Let me backtrack for a moment. Mostly it's fighting between people, be it the viewpoints, be it, I'm not talking about war in that sense.
Yeah.
But how much is there also a competition playing in? I'm fighting for because I want to be better than that person. And how much is that actually creating?
Yeah. Whew.
What if I recognized, and I have to admit, I've been sitting with that. What if I recognized it's not that that other person is doing it right and I'm doing it wrong? That other person is doing it his or her way, in a way that works for that person, as I am doing it my way that works for me. And those ways are different. It's not that one is better or more right or whatever than the other.
And going with what you said, working and doing it your way as it works for you. And can it be because I know you are really committed to consciousness? It's not only it's working for you, but at the same time, how are you aware and conscious that it is also working for more consciousness?
Yeah. And that is where the beauty of diversity comes in.
Yeah.
Because we're not all the same.
And where we go also out of the between two people, for example, because when there is that fight for in your way that works for you, from knowing that it is a contribution and an expansion for consciousness on earth, how does it get any better than that? Then there is that the fight is also that vibe is also the potency. With the source of your knowing, your being different, your difference. Yeah.
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 And it still, creates that expansion that you were talking about. Versus if I compare myself to somebody else and then go into a competition with the other person, then am I not in a way making myself smaller? Because I'm comparing, oh, that other person is doing it better. Or I need to prove that I'm doing it better. And neither way is actually creating more.
Yeah. Wow. It's so interesting, this energy, because we touched so many little things. We learned about fight and fighting, that for me, it's even now in this moment more clear that how insane fight is.
Yeah.
From the point we know it, from the point of view we know it and learned it in this reality, it's insane, because what is it creating?
Nothing.
What is it creating?
Yeah.
More insanity,
Mm-hmm.
more stupidity, more competition, more. It's creating more. But is it expensive? From my point of view, not.
Yeah, I would agree. It's rather you have to almost contract in order to create that more that
Yeah.
you were referring for.
And isn't that something that Earth showed us in this year? More expensive than ever before. Like, you
Yeah,
can fight, you can go against, you can do this, you can do that, but this is my way.
yeah,
This is my way. Wow. It's for the first time I'm saying it like this, and I hear it different. This is my way. And that's going back to what you said, the diversity.
mm-hmm.
So, are we really willing to be as different as we be?
Good question. And I don't know why that comes up right now. I was watching a lot of, mostly short 20-minute documentaries, 15 minutes. And there was one that was saying, yeah, there is a lot of people that draw on the pity, I don't know how to call it, the feelings of pity that because of global warming, the polar bears are dying out and da da da. And in reality, they are adapting. And okay, that may be, I cannot prove it specifically with polar bears, but isn't the reason that animals are still around because they were willing to adapt, and those that adapted were the ones that survived and continued the species? And how much are we having the desire to have it the same way? We've always done it this way. We need to continue doing it this way. An animal doesn't think in that terms.
So, when you speak about adapting, is it going
With the change.
with, yeah.
With the change, yeah.
Yeah. Because I notice somehow in my world, from what I learned, adapting was more likely an energy of settling in, as keeping it where it is. Once I adapt me in the situation, I'm there. But the energy you speaks about adapting is completely different.
Yeah, it's basically adapting is being willing to go with the change and finding out, okay, this is different. How do I need to be different now
Yeah.
to have ease with that change?
Wow, thank you, Corinna, for this, because from what I was saying, adapting, I was learned it in a different way. And I was so judged about when from nature on, my natural being is adapting easily, as I can go quite easily with whatever is showing up. It's not always, no, with ease. I have to say it like that. I can go with ease. It's not always easy, but I can go with ease, but was made often so wrong as like, yeah,
Because you didn't keep the tradition.
not tradition, not caring, not respecting, not whatever,
Yeah.
whatever, whatever. But now with this energy of adapting as going with it, it's yeah, throwing a whole new life and light on it. Thank you for that. Wow. I'm receiving.
And, how much fight is in the whole climate change conversation.
A lot.
And yes, if we don't, let's assume we don't do anything. And so there's going to be the repercussions that there is going to be a higher water level and that is impacting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But does that mean we have to fight the climate change because we've made a decision ages ago to build a city at the shore of the ocean, and now the ocean is rising, and no, we built the city there and are not going to move?
That's Corinna, and that's really interesting because when you see there are always, yeah, always everywhere around the world, they build more houses, they build more complexes. So they take a lot of nature, that natural balance, and then nature is against them. Nature becomes
All the point of view.
Yeah, right. That it's yeah, but we build it here and we live here now. So what can we do? So yeah, against. Also from their point of view, everyone's point of view, that it's the right thing to do. When you think, oh, we have here a plot of land, so we can construct here this and this and this, there is no question in it. There is no question in it. And I can say I wasn't aware of it before. It was when I heard Gary say in one or another conversation about somebody that had questions about building and creating and constructing a house on a plot, that he asked her, did you ask there, the place, the plot, if it's open up for receiving a construction there? And I thought, what?
Yep, that's why we build on earthquake faults.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know when a dog goes into the sea or goes for a swim, or it's in the rain, when it's coming out, it's really going like crazy to suck up the
to shake it off.
So what's the difference? Earth saying, this is too heavy here, I can't move anymore here, so let me give it a little shake.
Or as a cartoon that I saw where Earth was saying, oh God, I miss a really healthy meteor shower. And having the shower head and, meteors dropping instead of water drop.
And it's also crazy, like people here, and I saw it often when it's raining, like most of the time of the year, it's not really raining here. So when it's raining, they're all like crazy and they run and they can't catch any water, like it's the wrong thing. It's the wrong thing. And at the same time, they are saying, yeah, but it's really necessary. The ground, the soil needs water. but I don't like it, so go away.
Yeah.
That's something that I can catch more and more and more what's coming out of people's mouths, how they go against the sentence they said before, and
Mhm.
then they jump over again. So, and then I'm thinking sometimes, but don't you really hear what you are saying?
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting.
It it absolutely is. And you know, what can be changed? How much can people choose to become more aware, to wake up? I mean, there's so many different phrasings that are being used to really look at what is required and what might be a contribution for the earth and me. Not one against the other, but it's both. It's a
Yeah,
contribution for both. And what if we aim more on creating that?
yeah, yeah. That collaboration
Yeah,
with Earth.
yeah. Creating with the earth instead of
Yeah,
against the earth.
yeah. That we lived on Earth against Earth, and what is possible.
Yeah. What if
What
we
is
live?
required when we are going to live with Earth
Yeah,
as one?
yeah, yeah,
And for living with Earth, perhaps it's required to let go of the fight. Could that
yeah.
be? Could that be?
Or at least required to let go of judgment, which
Yeah,
usually leads to the fight.
yeah. And is judgment itself, isn't that a fight?
Yeah.
So let's go of judgment.
Let's stop the fighting. Let's stop the judgment.
Yeah.
And what is possible next year?
And what is
And,
possible next year? Yes, instead of making lists
and
of, I want this, what is possible? What if I am open for the possibilities?
and what if we let go of the artificial construct of
Yeah,
next year?
yeah, yeah. And also, what is possible if we let go of linearity also?
Yeah.
What if we really, really, it started already. It's not that we have to start it, but a lot of people perhaps can choose to start it, to start something really beyond every linearity we ever had on Earth.
Yeah.
Because what would it create with Earth? And with Earth,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. As knowing that Earth doesn't do linearity. So when we start to cooperate and live with Earth, linearity can't exist in that, but that's my point of view. Okay.
Yeah. What if
We
things
will
don't
see.
go from because of A, there is B?
Yeah.
What if because of A, there is Q
Yeah.
and nothing in between?
Yeah. And how would it be if we only start asking for the possibilities, not from a point of view of an A, B, C, D, E, but only starting what is possible?
Yeah, what is possible?
Yeah.
And there is so much more possible than what we think, according to this reality.
Yeah.
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 So,
Oh,
okay.
it
I'll
flies again. The time flies when we are having our
when
conversation,
we're having fun.
when we are having fun, for sure. So, Corinna, do we
Yeah.
catch up next week?
Next week, same time, same place. And then I'm curious what we're going to choose to talk about.
Yeah, let's see
Let's
what
see
next week will have
what we're
for
calling.
us. So, take care. Thank
Take
you,
care.
and I'll see you next
Thank
week. Bye
thank you.
bye.
Bye bye.